Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, there's a new weapon in the war against seasonal allergies. You'll meet two of the driving forces behind Pollen Sense next.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, if you have seasonal allergies, I don't need to tell you, it's been a brutal allergy season so far. I feel a little stuffed up here for about a week, and no wonder. I go out to look at my car, and it's got a dusting of yellow pollen all over it. So Lord knows what we're breathing every day. Two people who are fighting a war against seasonal allergies are in studio right now. Brent Noel and Kris Klein. They're both with Pollen Sense. Thanks for coming on the show. Absolutely.
Thank you, Jeff.
All right, why don't we start with you, Kris? What is Pollen Sense?
Pollen Sense was started and invented. It's an automatic sensor that was invented in 2015 to identify particles in the air, and it's to empower people. Our mission is to empower people to make choices for their health and their lifestyle. So we are portable microscopy using AI technology. It's the only one in the world of its kind.
Absolutely. And Kris, you're a mechanical engineer and absolutely genius in this field. Let me get you to grab the device and put it up on the desk, because I think people would be impressed at how small it is, because if there are competitors, their devices are much larger, aren't they?
They are. They're much larger and much more expensive.
Okay. So tell us what we're looking at.
So right here you're looking at the APS 400, and like Kris mentioned, this is a automated particulate sensor near real time. So every few minutes you'll get a new frame where we identify the particle. So it's not just a size like your PM count.
Yeah.
That is just a size and a number. We can actually identify. So if there's things of multiple sizes, we can tell you, well, what is it?
Absolutely. And the media absolutely loves this company. They've been picked up all over the country. We found a great story. Let's go ahead and roll that now.
AXAN has invested in some new technology to try to get you more accurate and timely allergy reports. So Chief Meteorologist David Yeomans is joining us now to help explain what makes Pollen Sense really a game changer for allergy forecasting and reporting.
Britt, we're the only TV station in Texas to have this, and we're really excited about the capabilities, and it is live now. Check this out. It's an automated pollen sampling machine that gives us updated counts every single minute. Instead of once a day, it actually uses artificial intelligence to identify different allergens, including the dreaded cedar we get during the winter time. This actually allows our meteorologists to track minute by minute and hour by hour changes in allergies in our weather as the weather changes. As we'll get these counts now 24/7, 365 days a year. We are very, very excited to get you the most accurate and most up-to-date pollen counts.
Absolutely. And I want to give you guys a chance to brag, because almost every TV station in the country does some kind of pollen count, but they're using different technology. Do you want to talk about that, Kris?
Yeah, with the allergy and asthma bureaus that we have for the country, there's not one source for accurate real-time information. So people are piecing it together. So a lot of people are manually counting. That's been the traditional or legacy method. So a lot of people are manually counting and going through, and they go out once a week to retrieve those traps, go and manually count it under a microscope, and then they're trying to forecast to be able to give you that information to be able to combat your allergies and plan ahead. But what we bring is real time, so it's perfect for the news stations to be able to get that information out to the public.
Absolutely. Kris, let's bring it back, because, in North Texas, you could wake up with a pollen count, that's very high, and then there's a rainstorm or something like that and knocks it down. But other technology is not reading that.
No, it's not. And they're not going to be able to detect the mold.
Yes.
They're all forecasting and modeling based off of I hate to say it, but archaic methods. So our technology is the newest, and there's literally nothing else in the world like it.
All right, David, tell us more about the journey. I mean, when you first became aware of this technology, you had to get excited.
Oh, I was so excited. So they found me on LinkedIn, the founders did, and they were, developing the new prototype, and they had some challenges. I didn't hear from them for another year, and they came back, and I had an opportunity to invest. And I saw the value at the time. I was, my background is mechanical engineering, and at the time I was at a factory, and we were trying to reduce the silica exposure of our employees. And what I saw was a huge opportunity for not just pollen. Like we can see particles that are over 3-5 micron. We get enough detail that the AI can start to identify those particles. So silica is really easy. It's jagged, sharp. So now I'm looking at knowing as an engineer, I designed this equipment to protect the workers, and after it's put out there, I don't know if it's still working. There's nothing to tell me it's still working. And so this technology, I jumped on the chance to invest. And my first project was to build those 100 sensors that you saw in that news report. That was one that I built, my team did, for my investment.
So I don't want to overpromise, but we hear about chemical spills and train derailments and stuff like that. In the future, David, do you think your technology would be able to address that?
I definitely believe that we can, and that we can see those particles, and if the size if it's over those 3 to 5 micron, there's a lot of information, and so we have not put in the Legionella or the other bacteria to test, but we have, as Kris mentioned, this is mobile microscopy with AI technology. So it'll only get smarter as we train more and more. Right now we have nearly 2.5 billion particles in our library, and we can train off of those, and we can go backwards. So we don't know, maybe some of those particles we didn't know what they were at the time.
Sure.
But now we can go back 2.5 billion particles, and we can train so fast.
All right, Mark Cuban, if you're watching and you want to invest, we'll give you the website here in a minute. We also found a great demo video. Let's go ahead and roll that video now.
Hi, I'm Kevin with the Pollen Network. Historically, scientists have collected, counted, and identified pollen manually. This process takes time, so reports are usually at least 24 hours late. With the modern development of artificial intelligence, PollenWise has automated the job with a network of pollen sensors, and these sensors are placed across the United States. They report hourly information to allergy sufferers. Here's a sensor in Provo, Utah. It takes microscopic images like this one and creates a report that is shared on the PollenWise mobile app. Users who suffer from seasonal allergies usually feel better if they can reduce how much pollen they're exposed to. Pollen levels often rise and fall during the day. Knowing where those levels are every hour can help those with asthma and allergies to reduce symptoms. The devices in the Pollen Sensor network are what make this possible.
And we just saw a young lady with an inhaler. People who have asthma, this is critical information, isn't it, David?
It is. I can still remember the first network we set up in Utah. Landon, one of our founder biologists, he's a severe allergy sufferer. We set the network up, and I remember the morning he called in to our stand-up, and he was so excited because for the first time in his life, he said, I knew I could roll down my window, and I wouldn't be sick for 2 to 3 weeks as I'm driving to work. I could enjoy the fresh air in our little Utah Valley mountains, and it was exciting to hear him and that joy in his voice.
Absolutely. We've got some a video from our library that we're going to roll, and I want to bring you back in, Kris. This is a game changer, isn't it?
It is. It absolutely is. With the network, the way that we're set up, we have an automated network of the sensors connected. So our research partners and our news stations and our municipalities around the country and around the world are all contributing to the ambient air network. And through that, you might have heard PollenWise mentioned on the video. That's our app. That's our consumer app. So if there's a sensor nearby, someone can go on the PollenWise app and they can see hourly updates of standard particles that are detected, pollen levels, dust, mold, and then we speciate for the different pollens and lower taxa of the different molds. So then somebody could try to start to track their misery index, and they might start to see a pattern of what they're more allergic to and where their symptoms rise and fall.
Sure. Is this going to go international, or is it already international?
We are international, yeah. We're in 25 countries.
Is that right?
Right now already, and we work with the top European researchers in the world through the EU. World of Air Biology community is tight-knit, although it is vast. We work with a lot of academia researchers. Emory University has got an ongoing research study focusing on public health. And we are hopefully developing some other partnerships through the National Atmospheric Deposition Program. So the NADP has some additional research that's going on as well.
Absolutely. And you have some huge partners. We're going to pull up the partners page of your website because look at that. Microsoft, AccuWeather, Fox Media. That doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah, we're really blessed with the partnerships that we've already started to work with, and I wish I could give away some more big names that we've got coming up, but we're still working on some of the fine-tuning of those relationships right now.
Outstanding. So we only have a minute or so left, so why don't we give you the final word, David? As people are watching this and they're saying, man, I think I need to get in touch with these guys, what's the process? Do they get you through the website?
Yes, you can definitely go to pollensense.com and you can contact us through the website, and we'd love to hear from you. Definitely let us know on that form. You can let us know it's personal use and where you heard from us, and we want to follow up with you. And our goal is to empower people to know what is in their air so you can make decisions for your health and for your lifestyle. And that's what we've always wanted to do, and that's our mission.
Outstanding. You've been an amazing guest. Thank you, and congratulations on your success. We're going to end with the website, which again is pollensense.com. David and Kris, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks, Jeff. Thank you.
That's it for now. We'll see you next time.